words are about to change your entire experience, whether you are planning to move to Italy or you are already living here. And those 4 words I only learnt at the end of 2024 in an incredible book that I started reading just after Christmas called Let Them by Mel Robbins. And those magic 4 words, let them and let me. And in today's video, I'm going to explain to you just why those words are so powerful and just how they can help you navigate the many complicated moments that you will no doubt encounter moving to and living here in South Italy. So let's talk about this principle, because this is such a powerful concept. Let them. Let them basically relieves you of the responsibility of trying to control other people. In life as humans, I do think there is an element of control that we like to have. We like to be able to sometimes micromanage situations to our advantage, to the outcomes that we desire. But people cannot be micromanaged or controlled in that way. And so as much as you might present the very best version of yourself, you will never be able to control every single person's reaction to you and whether their reactions are going to be positive or negative. And so when you let them, you allow people and situations to be exactly as they are, because it's not something that you can do anything about. And all the time that we're stressing and we're getting anxious about people's reactions to us or what people are saying or what they're doing, we are completely stripping ourselves of the power that we have, which comes when we let me. Because let me is all about focusing back in on yourself, focusing on the things that are within your control, your emotions, your reactions, the work that you do, the life that you lead. All of these things are within your control. And every time that we are looking outside of ourselves and listening to what's going on around us, we are taking that attention away from ourselves and the things that can actually make a difference in our lives. And so this is the principle that Mel Robbins talks about in this incredible book. In fact, it's so good. I've mentioned it quite a few times in my podcast and once or twice in previous videos. But this concept deserves an entire video of its own, which is why we're doing this today. Because you see, it's not easy to decide to move to another country, particularly Italy, and it's not easy to navigate life here in Italy. And so I do think you need tools and techniques that can help you. And, you know, some people prefer like practical exercises like meditation. Other people prefer simple techniques like this that can just switch your mind when it starts racing and help you to stay focused on what it is that you're doing. Now, we're going to divide this video into different categories. We're going to talk about some things that I think you will experience at all different stages in your journey here in Italy. So I think that this can help you to utilize this principle in all of these different areas. So let's begin with the first, and that is when you are dealing with the haters and the naysayers, because there is a slight difference. You have the full-out haters who really don't support you at all, and then you have the naysayers that don't ever have anything positive to say. So although they're in the same category, they are a little bit different. However, you absolutely need to be ready with this technique when it comes to dealing with these kinds of people, because you experience them at all different stages in your journey. You will experience them at the very, very beginning when you venture into online expat communities, asking questions, seeking advice and guidance. I guarantee you, in at least one expat group that you go into, you will encounter somebody who has something negative to say. And in a way, it's funny, but in a way, it's also quite sad, because I think if you are not strong enough in your conviction and you are on the fence about your decision, if you're faced with enough negativity, it could be enough to deter you altogether. And I think that is a real shame. Unfortunately, expat communities on the surface seem supportive, but in reality, and you scratch beneath just a little bit, you start to see that a lot of negativity festers in these groups, and they're not as welcoming as you might imagine them to be. And sadly, this is where a lot of people meet the first resistance that they'll face when it comes to deciding to move to Italy. So this is where the let them principle kicks in. When you're faced with negativity in these expat groups, for example, let them. Let people share with you the negative experiences that they've had. Let people share with you their opinions about your move. Let people be as negative as they want to be, because you cannot control them. You cannot get them to say certain things that you want to hear. They will say whatever it is they feel like saying. And so what you need to do in that moment is let me. What information are you listening to that could help you? Is there anything that anyone has said to you that could guide you in a particular way, or make you want to research something a little bit more, or make you really reflect upon your decision? What are the steps that you need to take to get the answers that you need, perhaps in a more neutral setting? These are all things that are within your control. What is also within your control is to how much information you choose to share in the first place. Now, I'm a big believer in keeping things to yourself until you're a bit further along the road. And the reason why I say this is because the problem is when we get excited about something, we share it pretty much as soon as we've fought it in some cases. And the problem with that is that if your idea isn't solid enough or concrete enough at that point, you've only got to get a few negative opinions and, doubts to kind of throw you off course and knock you a little bit. And that's why I think it's really, really important to be strong in your idea before you start talking about it to other people. It's not to say that you have to have like a fully fledged plan as to what you're going to do, but you do need to be strong enough in your conviction that if a few people have something negative to say, it's not going to knock you in the same way. Now, I also believe that when it comes to let me, you need to also consider where you're going for this information. What information do you need and where can you get it, where maybe the environment is a little bit healthier. Now, YouTube is a great resource when you're early on in your kind of journey of thinking about moving to Italy. It's a great way to start researching where people live in Italy, trying to find content creators in different parts of the country, looking at different videos and trying to understand where might be good for you. It's also a great way to kind of connect with content creators, ask questions if you can in the comments, and try to get the information that you need in a bit more of a neutral setting. There are also some content creators, myself included, that have set up memberships on their channels whereby you can get even more exclusive content, behind the scenes access, and even the ability sometimes to talk to the creators on live streams to really be able to get your answers that you need without being faced with a barrage of criticism. And if this applies to you, then check out the two memberships that I have on this channel, the Espresso Club and the Aperitivo Lounge. Both of them offer exclusive content that you will not find anywhere else on my channel, but could very well help you if this is what you plan to do and you don't know where to turn to for information. Now, another area that you may well face kind of the haters and naysayers is if you intend to do something radically different here in Italy. Perhaps you want to open a business, want to do something that, given your path in life, people don't expect to be possible. And this is where I say to you, let me. Other people always project their own limiting beliefs and behaviours onto others. Sometimes it's because they have unfulfilled wishes and dreams of their own, and sometimes it's because they genuinely think that they are helping you, but all they are doing is regurgitating their past experiences that may never ever happen to you. Now, it's not to say that it's easy to do things like opening a business here in Italy because the tax system is wild. However, it is entirely possible to do so. And I think so many people tie themselves up in knots because countless people have said to them, oh, but you don't want to open a business in Italy. It's really terrible. It's going to cost you so much money, rah, rah, rah. Well, you've only got to look around and see just how many businesses do operate here to know that, yes, there might be extra costs involved, but it doesn't mean that it's not something that you can't do. You just have to work out if it's the right thing for you to do. And that's something that comes under let me, because whatever other things people have to say to you, not everything they have to say is going to be relevant for you and your own individual circumstances. So this is another way that you can manage the kind of negativity that you might face when it comes to living here or moving here, for example. You can apply this principle for any kind of negativity. People who don't understand your way of life here, people who, disagree with your mindset or your approach to life. Use this principle, let them and let me. Now, when it comes to actually living here in Italy and you have to start dealing with the bureaucracy, oh gosh, this is so difficult. Watch this video up here if you need some tips on how to manage it. But essentially, let them, let me. Let them have an antiquated system that is so unbelievably slow and incredibly complicated. Let them take weeks to respond to emails or seem really incompetent when it comes to dealing with your case. Let me be super organized with my paperwork. Let me ask the right questions and be prepared for any in-presence meetings. Let me do my research so that I know what I'm talking about. Bring somebody who can translate for me. Let me make my life easier by being as prepared as possible for this system here. Let me watch all the videos I need to watch about bureaucracy, read all the information that I need to read about it, and make sure that I'm really educated and clued up about what I need to do before I even step foot into a local government office. This is the principle, because a lot of people will come here, they'll start immediately with the bureaucracy, things won't go to plan, there'll be delays, there'll be hold-ups, there'll be people that don't seem to have a clue what they're doing in these offices, and it's going to stress you and it's going to make you feel really, really frustrated. But all the while, it's not actually changing the situation at hand. The people are still going to be slow. The work is still going to be inefficient at times. However, with Let Me, you are in a more relaxed space and you are focusing on what is in your control. So much of our energy and our attention and everything is given away to other people. But if we take that back inside of ourselves, we actually feel better within ourselves. And that is a really, really important thing, because bureaucracy, well, it brings a lot of people down here in Italy. And I read so many posts in expat groups from people who are struggling. And so this is something you need to adopt. It's a little technique when things aren't going quite to plan, or you've hit a stumbling block. Let them and let me. And you've just got to keep going and find that inner strength and seek out the right advice so that you can really make progress with whatever it is that you need to sort out. Now, when it comes to working in Italy, if this is something that you need to do, you are going to have to adjust to a completely different working culture, mindset, approach to work, lifestyle, for everything, all under one umbrella. Let them and let me. Let them have strange working systems and kind of contracts that are super complicated to understand. Let them, have a particular approach to work where, perhaps people are not treated as they should be or respected as they should be. Let them not know how to manage their staff and not know how to build a real sense of community in the workplace. Let me focus on being a good employee. Let me focus on my own skill set. Let me focus on my own responsibilities and the job that I'm paid to do. Let me. And can you see, even with these examples that I've given so far, when you're focusing in on yourself, it suddenly lets everything else just kind of fly away. All that heavy stuff that sits on our shoulders is often associated with other people. It's not often linked to our own selves and the things that are within our control. When it comes to dealing with other people here in Italy, let them look at you like you've got 10 heads. Let them not be particularly friendly. Let them gossip and chat about you behind your back. Let them be two-faced. Let them not be as genuine as you thought they were. Let me be the best version of myself. Let me push myself out of my comfort zone and make an effort with people. Let me put myself into new situations and learn new things, and as a result, potentially meet new people. Let me not complain and instead focus on being the best version of myself in this country. And let me remember why I wanted to do this all along, because that's another thing. When we begin this journey, once we've been on this journey for long enough, sometimes we forget what initially drove us to want to move here and what was the initial guiding light that led us to want to live here in Italy. We forget that once we've been through enough things living here in Italy. So I want you to always remember that. Why did you want to come here? And let that always be a humble reminder as to what is important to you and how all the other things that might be causing you stress externally, they don't matter, because you've got a deeper reason as to why you want to be living here in Italy. So I think you can tell from this video that there are many different ways that you can apply this let them and let me principle in your life. And I really want to encourage you to do it because, Italy is and has been my greatest teacher to date. And every single day I'm constantly learning something new be it from the people here or from the experiences that I have here. And so I truly believe that this principle helps you, this little technique helps you even more when you're dealing with stress or you're dealing with things that irritate you. Let them and let me. And I promise you, when you do this, you just feel so free. You feel so light. And actually, maybe even I think you can start to appreciate life here in a completely different way, because when you're holding on to what other people are thinking about you or what other people are saying about you or how people are reacting to you, you may as well put yourself on a roller coaster and allow yourself to be pulled around up and down all day, every day, because you have no control over your life. When you are about let me, you are in complete control and you let everything else slide. And I promise you that is going to make a whole world of difference to your experience here in Italy. I'll see you in the next video.